What's up, people? I just finished a project that I've been working on for the past few months. I'm really excited to share it with you guys, but the full thing isn't out yet. But I thought it'd be super useful to share some information. It is a mini documentary marketing video for a custom cabinet shop. It was a super fun project to be a part of. I learned a lot from this experience. And I'm gonna kind of go over how I got this job, the pre-production, the production phase, post-production. And if you guys make it to the end of this video, I'm gonna have kind of a special segment, and I'm gonna grab 2 stills from the project and kind of go over the lighting breakdown and the composition. So hopefully you can find something useful out of that. But for now, kind of enjoy this little segment from the documentary, and then right after that, we'll get right into it. Thanks.
I'm Tim Crow, I'm 26 years old. I'm the cabinet maker for Tank Built. What sparked my passion in woodworking and carpentry was my family's business is a teak outdoor furniture company. I would go there after school, in middle school and high school, for hours just messing around. And before I began working with Tank, I worked for a pharmaceutical industry software company. There was no real creative dimension to the job.
This project was presented to me by a client of mine that I work with on an occasional basis, really. For about a year and a half now, I've been working with them, doing photo, video, and some marketing materials. When they first presented this project to me, I was really excited. I haven't done a project like this, and I was really excited to kind of do one of these because I've been looking forward to and kind of hoping I could do one soon. Kind of like a mini documentary style video. So when we had that first meeting, I was really excited for this. I really showed them that I was into the idea, and truthfully, I really was into the idea. I came in prepared with some notes, some ideas that I already had. But a quick tip on kind of client relationships is I kind of changed my business model a couple months ago. Instead of kind of looking for how many clients I can get, I kind of stuck with the idea of how can I be more of value to the clients I already have, or kind of minimize the amount of clients I take, just so I can kind of focus on the ones that I do have and give them my absolute best and my full effort. Because in the end, the return that you get as a business is pretty much in direct reflection to how much you give out to them. And I've noticed that tremendously with this company in particular. I've been with them for about a year and a half now, and in the beginning I was doing some really small projects, some really low budget projects, but it was for the experience, and it was to build that foundation and that relationship together. So a year and a half later, I could be presented with this bigger opportunity with a bigger budget and create a more cinematic kind of video instead of just like a small marketing piece. But yeah, overall, just work on your business relationships and focus on the clients that you do have to help them grow. Because in the end, when you help that business grow, they'll see your value and help you grow your business as well. So the pre-production phase of this video wasn't too extensive, but we did have a meeting and we went over a few kind of crucial things to make this video happen. A few things that I asked were the kind of market that they were targeting, what kind of audience, the goal of this video. So at the end of that video, what did they want those people to do, whether it's go to their website, go to their Instagram, social media platforms, email, call, whatever it was for that particular video, we figured it out at that meeting. We also figured out some sort of mood or vibe for the video, as well as kind of figure out some possible interview questions to ask throughout the video. So I kind of went home, created a PDF, wrote down all the information that we discussed during the meeting. So it's all organized with the interview questions, with the goal of the video, the audience that we're trying to target, as well as the color palette and everything. I also included some test shots in there as well, just to see kind of some composition ideas, some color techniques, just to show the owner and who else was in that meeting what kind of the vibe of the video was going for. So that was kind of the pre-production phase of this project. So after the pre-production phase, we kind of went into principal photography and the production side of this project. The gear that I used was my Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2. I used my Sigma 2040-70 f2.8. Occasionally the 50mm 1.8 pancake lens, right over there. you can see it, not sure if you can. So for most of this project, all the B-roll clips were mostly shot handheld with an occasional tripod shot here and there. As far as the interviews go, I did have my Blackmagic on a tripod at a kind of medium distance away. I also had my Sony a7 III on a set of sticks on the side just to get a tighter profile shot, just to cut to here and there. As well as that, I had the Godox SL60W LED light with a softbox attachment, as well as a neg flag just to darken up the shadows a little bit, as well as a a Youngulu, I don't know, LED light just on the back right side of the subject to kind of give it a nice hair light, as well as on the back side there's a big gorgeous window that produces a bunch of light, which looked really nice during the interview. The interview portion of this project was fairly simple. Since we did go over a few questions in pre-production, I did have a good base to start with. I didn't really stick with them throughout the whole entire interview process because I felt like some questions that I asked, I could kind of come up with some more questions off the top of my head and dig a little bit deeper just to get maybe a little bit more of a extensive answer if the person wasn't giving me kind of enough information. I could dig a little bit deeper and try to get a little bit more out of them, but generally, thank God for pre-production because I had a great base of questions to ask and a great direction to go towards. But yeah, overall, mostly handheld and tripod. I didn't use a gimbal really at all for this. I didn't think it really fit the vibe of the construction style video. But yeah, overall, mostly just handheld and a bunch of tripod shots. The last phase of this project is obviously post-production. After every day of shooting, I would come home and back up each of my files because God forbid they go away. That's just an absolute mess. It's happened to me before. No bueno. Definitely a no bueno. But I've learned, and now I back up everything twice, if not 3 times. But as far as the post-production process goes for me for this project, after the final day of shooting, I backed up everything. Everything was organized by the day. I had day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Each clip's in between. I had interview folders as well. I also had a music folder, a sound effects folder, and a photo folder as well in case I had any JPEGs or PNGs that I wanted to add as well. The video editing software I use is the Blackmagic's DaVinci Resolve. I've been using Premiere Pro for maybe 2-3 years now, but once I bought the Ursa Mini Pro, it came with a code that allowed us full access to DaVinci Resolve, which is absolutely amazing. And I was really excited to use it just for the coloring capabilities. But as soon as I kind of opened up DaVinci, I organized everything into bins, as they call it in Resolve. So it was day 1, day 2, day 3. So everything matched inside Resolve as it would in the Finder section in my external hard drive. So once everything was uploaded and organized, I would spend a bunch of hours kind of just going through each clip, finding little segments here and there that I liked that I think would fit the story. So at the end, after going through all the clips, I would kind of have a big timeline of all great clips that I would have. And the last thing I did was go to all of the interview sections. I would listen to every single one of the interviews and cut out bits and pieces and create a general story from the answers and questions that were being asked and told throughout the interview. So after I was done going through the interview and coming up with like a general story, just a rough draft of how I kind of wanted the video to go, I started editing the B-roll into a sequence with the interview to make it into a full project. And this took me, I would say, in total maybe 20 hours or so. I could be completely wrong. I think it's about 20 or so hours, but give or take a few. As far as coloring goes, that was probably one of the hardest things for me. I'm still learning color, especially since I got Resolve. I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper now into color correction, color grading properly. So I would start my color grade maybe when the project's about 90% done or so. I would start coloring like a general base and the general grade of each clip. And once I was done coloring everything and I felt that the project was at about a 90% completion, I would export it and send it to a bunch of people that I really look for their valuable criticisms, because I look up to some of these people and I think that their opinions, they matter to me. So I send out this video to a bunch of people to hear their feedback. I listen to their feedback. I take it. Some things I don't, I don't use because I don't think it fits. But some things I do fix because I didn't even notice it. After looking at a project for so long, you might miss certain things here and there. That's why it's great to get a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth opinion sometimes. But also know that you don't have to take their advice sometimes. It's great to acknowledge their advice, and it's great to appreciate it and show your gratitude towards it, but just know that you don't have to take what they say all the time, because you, as the director, whatever it is, you're the one ultimately that has to make that decision. So after I hear the feedback and I make all the corrections that I feel necessary, I find that I pretty much around 100%. I export it one more time and I take a look at it on a TV screen just to see the coloring, if there's anything I need to fix. And generally I'll come back one more time, tweak the colors a little bit more, maybe tighten up some clips here and there, and then by that time I'm pretty much happy with the project. It's about 100% done, and it's probably version 15 by that time it's done. And then I send it to the client. Maybe he or she will write a review back or some criticisms and I need to fix it here and there, but generally that's kind of it. Once the video I feel is done, there's usually some minor tweaks here and there. And that's kind of how the project went for this one. Alright, so if you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. So I'm going to kind of go over two different sets of stills from this project and go over the lighting breakdown and the composition and kind of just what makes this shot the way it is. So first thing you'll notice here is that this is pretty much the hero shot right here. This is the subject of the project, and you'll notice here as well that there's a big source of light right here, this window. And you'll see that there's a bunch of light rays right here going on, and what that's from is just direct sunlight and then a little hazer kind of atmosphere aerosol spray sprayed it in the background to create that kind of depth in the image and create that kind of haze. So that really helped create some depth and dimension to the shot. And as far as practicals in this shot, kind of up here there are a bunch of LED light bars right up here that kind of hang from the ceiling. That kind of illuminates the top of the subject and overall ambience of the place that we're filming in, the warehouse. And then for the key light to light the subject's face is a source light right over here. It's a Godox SL60W with a softbox, and that kind of just goes, it's a little higher, so I guess it would be right over here in a way, and kind of pointing downwards towards his face to give him a nice softer light. I didn't want too dramatic of a light. I did have a flag somewhere around here, kind of facing the left side of his face, but I didn't do it too dramatic because I didn't want it to be overly contrasty. But overall, this is the general look of the image. The big source was the light over here with the haze in the background, the key light, to give the subject a bit of dimension to his face, and so the background and the foreground could match perfectly in exposure. And as far as the style of this shot, I'm going to bring it right over to the BTS and the final clip to show you what it looks like. Alright, so this is the second still we have here from the project, and as you can see there are some unique elements going on here. The subject here is lit pretty well, his face is visible. That's due to kind of a reflection off of kind of a piece of paper that's going down here, a white piece of paper that's reflecting off of his face here. That's giving him some light. As far as these practicals go, these give a lot of good ambient light here, and some good top light as well. There's some over here as well. And to kind of emphasize these practicals here and this window that's right over here, I have the Godox SL60W kind of hidden in the background over here on the C-stand, and that is kind of emphasizing the back end light here to kind of highlight over here. So that's kind of a basic color grade here, or a basic lighting, I'm sorry. And I also had a neg flag kind of right over here on the side to kind of just darken up the side of his face a little bit right here. But overall, this is the general lighting for this still. the use of the practicals, the piece of paper down here reflecting off of his face, as well as the Godox kind of just emphasizing the light from the windows and the practicals, and a flag over here to kind of just up the contrast just a little bit and boost the shadows a tiny bit. So I really hope you liked this video. This project was really awesome to make. I had a great time and it was a really fun experience, and I learned a lot from it. There are obviously some mistakes that I saw and made that I'm definitely going to correct for the future, but that's all part of the process and growing. Because to be honest, if you don't learn anymore, you're not going to really succeed, because even the highest paid directors and cinematographers, they say that they're even learning now. They're always learning, no matter what. Something I heard recently from a cinematographer, Roger Deakins, who's one of my inspirations, says sometimes when he goes on set still, he's nervous and scared, and to me that's crazy, because he's probably one of the best cinematographers in the world. And that really just shows that this craft is endless in possibilities of learning, and you'll be pretty much a forever student. So I really appreciate you watching this video if you made it towards the end. Hopefully you liked the breakdown of the lighting sequence and the composition, how I made some of those shots happen, and kind of how I went about making this project. So thank you very much. Hopefully you could hit the like button, hit subscribe, maybe comment, let me know your thoughts. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.